Do you know what the internet desperately needs? It's more clickbait videos. Videos that are designed to capitalize on the success and work of other people without really bringing anything new to the table themselves. It also desperately needs me to make more videos about the MCU. So the video I want to talk about today is this one. 10 mistakes that slip through editing in Avengers Infinity War. And it was posted by Simply Viral? Wow, that sounds inspired. Oh, and their profile picture is just like their name, but in a picture. What kind of unimaginative channel would do that? I was first drawn to talking about this video when I saw the absolute masterpiece that is its thumbnail. Here it is. So just to be clear, that is the not at all overused red circle with the first Google image result for Captain Marvel in it, as if Marvel somehow accidentally just put Captain Marvel in the background of this shot. Like, oops, we accidentally badly photoshopped Captain Marvel's head and shoulders into this trailer shot from the film. That one's on us, guys. Our bad. You know, fucking oops. 1.5 million people saw this and went, yes, I will click on this. Or did they? I have a theory that someone might have bought views on this video. I'm not going to say anything conclusive here because I'm not some kind of internet detective, but the video has over 1,400,000 views and only 200 comments. So it seems to me like they might have deleted most of their comments or artificially inflated their view count. When compared to other videos of the same kind, this is a ridiculously low number of comments compared to the number of views. Trust me, I did math. I even went and posted my own comment to see if they did that thing where they have to approve a comment before it gets displayed publicly. And no, they don't. Oh, we can't go and look at likes/dislikes because likes and dislikes are disabled for this video. I wonder what possible motivation they would have to make that decision. I always find it a little bit funny when I see likes and dislikes disabled for a video, because honestly to me it's more of a red flag than a bad like to dislike ratio. It seems to me like a cop-out that someone just decided to do that instead of actually responding to feedback or learning from it.
So I manned up and I turned off dislikes. It's a great way to show my haters I don't care what they think. Except I obviously do a little if I have to turn off.
But only 200 comments does feel a little bit fishy. And that's all I'll say conclusively on it, just that it seems a bit strange. But let's move on to the actual video itself, which by the way is almost exactly 10 minutes long with a duration of 10 minutes and 1 second. For those who don't know, YouTube videos that are more than 10 minutes long can have more ads on them and therefore can make the creators more money. And it's fine to make videos that are more than 10 minutes and all, but that really depends on how you fill them. So let's see how Simply Viral filled their 10 minutes. You know, will it actually turn out that Captain Marvel was lurking in the background of that shot from Infinity War? I fucking wonder. Oh, and one quick note before we start. I did actually guess that I was probably going to want to talk about this video just from seeing the thumbnail. So I went ahead and recorded my live reaction to it, and you're going to be seeing clips of that reaction throughout this video. So the video starts with just sort of a generic title card, nothing really wrong there, and then it moves straight to an ad.
Hey, did you know Hypelet Store makes the coolest merchandise just for you?
Of course it starts with a fucking ad. They're not even trying to hide the fact that they're just trying to make money. Like that's the purpose of this video. It's not to make any good points. It's not to provide any kind of good content. It's, hey, money. You know, I understand that making money is very necessary. YouTube and Patreon are my sole sources of income. So I do know what it's like. But when you do stuff like this, you're prioritizing making money over making content. And personally, I think that's where the line is. When you consider this alongside the thumbnail that's clearly just designed to draw people in, and the almost exactly 10 minutes video duration, it doesn't give off a great first impression. Okay, so now we've actually got the ad out of the way. The very first thing he says is,
I'd like to ask you to give this video a thumbs up if you're a fan of Marvel.
He begs for likes. But you've disabled you've disabled likes and begged me for likes. What do you expect to happen here? It definitely is just a pet peeve of mine, but one thing that really bugs me more than just people asking for internet points is people asking you to give them internet points if like a certain thing is true. Like this comment, if you're watching this in the current year, it's like you're tricking me into giving you internet points. Another thing that sometimes kind of bugs me is if someone were to ask me to do something that they are specifically preventing me from doing.
And join that notification squad by hitting the subscribe button.
You do realize, right, that it's the notification button they have to hit to get notifications? You know, the little bell? If they just subscribe, then you'll just show up in their subscription feed. This really isn't complicated. I do really want to get on to addressing your actual points, but you keep making mistakes and it fills me with this overwhelming urge to just nitpick. That's me showing my roots, I guess.
Also comment down below when you do so, and we'll do our best to reply to as many of you as we possibly can.
So I went through the whole comment section, I checked, and can you guess how many comments they responded to? None. You know, they didn't even reply to the poo comment that I left earlier, and personally I just find that hurtful. Like, why even say you're going to try and respond to comments if you're just literally not going to reply to any comment? Could it maybe be something to do with you wanting a high engagement rate, but you didn't want to put in the actual effort that you said you would? So you know what, I think we've spent long enough on the intro already. We're then treated to another 30 seconds of preamble that doesn't really need to be there, and then we make it to our first point. Nah, just kidding, no we don't. Before they get to their first point, they just include a random clip of the trailer, for no reason.
10 editing fails you missed in Marvel Studios' Avengers Infinity War.
I hope they remember you.
Now, I've seen a lot of attempts at padding runtimes, but honestly, this takes the cake. They end up including pretty much the whole trailer in separate little clips like this. Clips that are just randomly thrown in with no rhyme or reason to them. He'll just be halfway through a point and then just throw in some of the trailer for no reason. I genuinely feel like the video they ended up making was just 8 minutes long, but they wanted a 10-minute video, so instead of just making more content like anyone else would, they just cut in some random clips. Why does it just keep cutting to random parts of the trailer with like no context or reason to it? It's so the video is more than 10 minutes. The video is exactly 10 minutes and 1 second. Of course, it's about making money. They're not even pretending. It's just like, hey, the video wasn't long enough, so we spliced in some other shit randomly. Okay, so now, finally, after about a full minute of preamble, and then just a random clip of the trailer, we finally get to their first point, which they label as number 10 for some reason. I guess they think they're a top 10 list. Editing mistake, number 10.
Before the movie even hit the theaters, Marvel already made a major mistake on their Avengers Infinity War promo art, more specifically on the Chinese movie poster.
Oh, okay, cool. So this first editing mistake in Infinity War is something that's not in Infinity War, but it is a quote-unquote major mistake, so, you know, if that's true, I guess maybe it was worth including anyway. Okay, no, I'm gonna stop beating around the bush. The
Major mistake
is on screen now. Do you see it? Okay, it's that Bucky is wearing a sleeve, and that there's a little gap in between his glove and his sleeve, and you can see his real wrist.
between the sleeve and the glove we can clearly see some skin, which completely ruins the illusion.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's a major mistake, but I guess it is a genuine nitpick, even if it isn't actually from the film. Oh, also in the original video, they managed to stretch this nitpick out until it takes 45 seconds, although about 15 seconds of that is just another clip from the trailer, so honestly, I was expecting it to start off worse. Let's see where they take it next. Nitpick number 9.
In the beginning of the movie, when the people in New York City start panicking, we get a shot that basically lets us down on the city from the spaceship. However, in the next shot, where Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, is on the bus with the rest of his classmates and suddenly spots the huge ship hovering over the city, we can see that it is surrounded by a lot of very tall and prominent buildings.
To wipe out half the universe.
When Spider-Man then jumps out of the bus and makes his way towards the ship, and they are nowhere to be seen when the ship comes closer to Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, and Wong. This is clearly a mistake that slipped by the editors, though we do admit that it is hardly noticeable if you focus on the superheroes.
This one I found kind of confusing on my first viewing, not because of what he was actually saying, but because of the clip of the trailer he edited in. It really messed up the flow of his point, and I had to go back and listen to the first half again, and then the second half again to be like, oh, okay, I get it now. Maybe that's just a me thing, but you know what? Maybe still don't edit in random clips into your video just to make it longer. I feel like it's worth pointing out at this point as well that the only footage they have available is the actual trailer because they made this before the DVD came out. So that's what they're showing you for the rest of the time. So they keep cutting away from the trailer to show you more of the trailer but without them narrating on it. Although that said, I will give him this one because when I went back to watch the film for this, I did notice that the positioning of the donut was really inconsistent. Although I did kind of have to laugh when he admitted himself that it was barely noticeable. Mistake 8. Mistake?
The buildings in New York City are not the only thing changing in this scene, as we see Doctor Strange standing in front of a grey SUV while he's trying to do something about the spaceship.
Okay, so for this one he complains that the background changes, and again, he is right. At first you can see that there's a grey SUV behind Doctor Strange, but then after he's walked a little bit of the way down the road, you can see it's been replaced with an emergency vehicle. Look, there it is! So, you know, again, technically accurate. This is one of those things where the shot is so hectic that if someone told me, oh, the SUV is actually still there, you just can't see it in that shot, it's slightly off to the left, I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. While technically so far this is all... While so far this has technically all been accurate, I will say that clutching at straws would be an understatement. Número 7. I don't know if that's actually a language. I just made vaguely foreign sounds that reminded me of the number 7. Is it Spanish? If it's anything, I feel like it's going to be Spanish. I took Spanish for 2 years, this is honestly embarrassing.
During the whole time in New York City, from when the spaceship arrives throughout the fight and until the ship leaves again, the weather constantly changes. In some shots we can see clear contrast between sunny and shady parts on the ground, while they completely vanish in others.
Here's another clip of the trailer. I've not even been including all of these.
It seems like the weather randomly changes between sunny and cloudy within moments, a continuity error which obviously is the result of filming these scenes in several days and ignoring the fact that the weather did not stay the same throughout.
Yeah. That is why that happens. I think most people probably just hope you're watching what's actually happening in the film rather than just like focusing on the clouds in the background and analyzing the shadows, but yeah, that does happen. Normally people don't seem to bother to CGI it out because they actually care about the film rather than like the very superficial details that only people who actually look for them will notice. That was my initial reaction, but now having gone back to watch the scene again, I can tell you that this is almost unnoticeable. There are some shots where you can see more or less cloud cover, but overall, especially on the ground, the weather feels very consistent. This one is honestly straw clutchier, sure, let's go with that, than the one before. And that's honestly all I really have to say on it at this point. But as far as clutching at straws goes, you really haven't seen much yet. Nitpick 6. Nitpick 6.
Following the ship's departure, Spider-Man is clinging to its outside in order to save the captured Doctor Strange. However, he soon notices that the air is getting thinner and thinner, and it is only when Tony Stark aka Iron Man comes to his rescue and gives him a new suit that Spider-Man can breathe again.
Right, calling it now, that information is not going to be relevant to what he says next. I'm guessing that that's just going to be sort of background information, like he's just setting up the scene with completely random fluff that nobody actually needs to hear. I'm guessing that he could have just gone straight in with the mistake and you would not have needed that information at all. But surprise me. Oh no, it's time to just watch more of the trailer.
This new suit has some pretty nice gadgets of course, but what we want to focus at is the fact that the suit looks slightly different later on in the movie. The spider on the chest actually changes its color and turns from blue to black.
I mean, like that. Wait, is he saying it's blue there? Because that doesn't look blue.
Although this might just be due to different lighting, and it's so minor it is hardly even noticeable.
It's so minor, it's hardly even noticeable. And it's probably just due to the lighting. Honestly, to me, this editing mistake is one that really exemplifies basically the problem with this whole video. Even you are so aware that this is just you clutching at straws that you feel the need to say that this might not even be a mistake and is probably just due to the lighting. While other things on your list may be genuine inconsistencies, it doesn't mean they're mistakes. I would believe that they are considered negligible by the filmmakers because you'd have to be looking at the film through a magnifying glass to notice them. Okay, moving on. What comes in between sex and fear? Funf.
About an hour into the movie, Captain America, Vision, and the others are arriving in Wakanda, where the weather seems to be arbitrary as in New York.
Oh cool, another clip of the trailer. I guess I can speak over this. For his fifth nitpick, he really shows his hand in my opinion, because he's complaining that the weather is arbitrary again. But this time he actually gives an example.
When the group arrives and T'Challa welcomes them, we can see the sunlight on his shoulder from the back, but it's gone when the perspective changes.
You can very clearly see here that T'Challa's shoulder is still brighter when compared to the rest of his body, to the extent that I would 100% believe that this was shot simultaneously, as in this is the same take and they just did it with two cameras. The tones may not look exactly the same, but this could easily be due to the fact that the cameras are adjusting to the light from the different angles. That's basically what this entire video is. Things that are so small that they might not even be there, and we're just going to have to trust you that they are. It's number 4! Okay, so here's the thing about number 4. He complains about a slight colour difference again. Are you sensing a theme? You honestly don't need to hear me reiterate points I've made against his previous points for you to understand the problem here. 3 is also very similar. Raise your hand if you're surprised by this. I will give him credit where it's due. It's slightly different. For this one, he claims that in the battle on Titan, it looks like some stones are missing from Thanos' gauntlet in certain shots. He doesn't show any of these shots because he doesn't have them because the movie isn't out yet, but I went back and watched the scene to see if he was telling the truth, and I can tell you that in some long shots, I could believe that it's true. It's not clear enough to really be able to tell. Although, I will bring this up. The one that he claims is missing most frequently is the Soul Stone. The one that just so happens to be almost the exact same colour as the Infinity Gauntlet itself. The number that describes this video. Number 2 is actually absolutely right. It's a genuine mistake, it seems like. There's a point in the film where it cuts away from Cap and he has 2 shields, and then it cuts back to him a couple of seconds later and he's only got 1 shield. It's possible he lost it in those few seconds, but it doesn't seem intentional, so I'll give them this one. In a list of actual editing mistakes, this is the kind of thing I would expect to see. So, credit where it's due, this one is absolutely fine. And so is number 1. Almost. I'll just remind you at this point that the title of the video is 10 mistakes that slipped through editing for Avengers Infinity War. You know, suggesting that they weren't edited out. But the final thing on this list is something that was specifically not in the film. It's something they edited out in the final cut.
Although this scene did not make it into the final cut like we see it here, because they decided to zoom in on Black Widow, you probably saw it in the trailer, and it is too funny not to be included in this list of mistakes.
Also, you know, the video would only be like 9 minutes without it, so...
And in the trailer version of the scene, we can see that Captain America's hair is weaving in the wind, and so is Black Widow's hair, almost looking like she is in a shampoo commercial. Standing behind her is Bucky, who actually has longer hair than her, but he is obviously using the wrong shampoo, as his hair did not move at all.
But you know what? I will give it to them that this is kind of funny. It is. I think it says a lot that the second best thing on their list is something that they included despite the fact it doesn't really fit on their list. But it's fine, I suppose. So, we've got through the whole thing. I'm pretty sure the conclusion was that this video just exists to make money, and they didn't really care about the quality of it. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, I've done some more videos like this in the past, and I'll link a playlist of them on screen now. If you haven't, then please let me know why. That is genuinely helpful feedback. Also, if you have enjoyed this, tell me why. That's really helpful as well. Basically, all feedback is helpful. Anyway, I'll see you on Wednesday for a Wednesday video. Goodbye.